So I finished my first item in the 100 thing challenge. As I showed in another video, I had a bag of items that I wanted to use. I had some, it looks like newsprint before they print on it, and it was in a package that I received in the mail. And also I had an Entertainment Weekly magazine that had the superhero, about the DC superhero TV shows, which my husband and son love. So when I saw that, I just, I started painting the paper, and then when I started painting the paper, the colors were so bright and cheerful, I started thinking about this magazine that was also in the bag, and I came up with this. I call this my superhero journal. Okay, so here's the first page. And so what I did was I painted it, and then I made 6 pages, but it's 6 large pages. And then in the bag there was also some business postcards, and I covered those. And I made big journaling cards on the back of each. I have places to write. And someone on Trashy Junk Journals posted about these Chef Boyardee labels, and a friend of mine sent me 4 of them, and so that was perfect. It worked out well with this journal. I've got that tag, and then I made another tag. This was also in the box of stuff to get rid of, and I thought it was pretty interesting. This was a piece of packaging from a set of paintbrushes that I bought. And this was also in that one article, and I thought it was cute. I like the colors in it, so I made a tag. And you can, it's just on the back, you can write things. I may not be able to put them in here one-handed in filming. Okay, and then here's the second page. And on the paint, what I did was, this is very thin paper, so if you paint any of this kind of paper, what I did was, and it was just cheap acrylic craft paint that I've had for years, so that's good too, because I started getting rid of some of it. Paint a layer of one color, let it completely, absolutely dry. You can look on the back of this paper and see when there's wet spots where it hasn't dried. Let it completely dry, then paint the next layer, and so on. Okay, and then here's this page, another tag that I made out of those postcards. And here's Superman. I thought this was funny. It says return to sender, so I put that there. If anyone knows the story of Superman, he comes from a different planet, so I thought that was pretty funny. Again, I made it a journaling card, and yes, you can still see, like, this was, Coushatta is a casino that's down here, and we get these postcards in the mail. But you know what? I like that. I like seeing kind of a glimmer or a little bit of the original packaging, because that shows it's a that you took and you made a journal out of what you normally would throw away. And what this is, I don't know if they're going to use any of this at all. This is a Barnes & Noble bag, and I took a piece of this same thin paper, and I didn't paint it, and I glued it on here. This was one side, and you can't really tell, but you might be able to tell on this side what this is. This is from The Wizard of Oz. And so I just put that. Someone might want to use that later in a different book. You really can't glue anything to it, but you might be able to sew something onto it. And I thought it was funny to put it because, of course, Wizard of Oz was Kansas, and I believe Superman was from Kansas. So anyway, and here's the next page. And here's another journal card. And I really, so what I did, I'm going to do this from now on. These were in a magazine, and they were extremely thin. So what I did was, first with a glue stick, I glued the magazine image to a piece of just white copy paper. Let that dry, and then I cut around it. And then I used tacky glue to glue that onto the card. I like that better. I think it's more secure. And if you notice, it didn't do that much of the weight. It did a little bit, but I'm fine with that. And then I also like that with the white around it, it kind of makes the picture stand out. Again, it's a journaling card, and I'm going to do that again. This was the other side of the Barnes & Noble bag, and I did the same thing. This is Romeo and Juliet. And I just sewed it. First I glued it, and then I folded it in half, and then I sewed it. And it's an interesting little thing. I don't know if it really has a purpose, but really and truly, does any of this stuff have a purpose? But it was fun. This one is kind of hard to get in, so I'm going to put that back in a minute. And then on this side, and this is the middle, and what I ended up doing was, this is clothing elastic, and I like the fact that it's blue, so it goes kind of with the book, and it says live, which for superheroes, you hope they save you so you can live, so I thought that was kind of funny. I'm just tying this together, and that way later on if I want to add more to it, I'll be able to easily slip more signatures, more pages and things into it until I decide that it's completely finished. And I really like that. Here's another journaling card. This one I left a little bit of the thing because I always thought Wonder Woman was beautiful. So kind of goes with her. And I just put some white paper here, and that way you can journal on that side and as well as this. I'm going to put that back in a minute. And then here's the next side. Unfortunately, this picture, it was a 2-page spread in the magazine. I may end up putting this on the outside of the book. It says All in the Family, and it's one side is this, and one side is that. But having it in the book like this, you don't get to see it. Here's this card, another journaling card, and this one was the Chef Boyardee with Batman. Again, I put some paper on the back to journal. Come on, Batman, don't do that. Alright, I'm going to put that back in a little while. And then here was in that bag of stuff was this front of this box that was candy with Batman. And what I did was I glued it completely down except for his ears. And it makes like a tuck spot. I don't have anything to tuck there yet, but maybe later. And then I thought this was pretty funny. I had one picture of Green Arrow and Flash left, and then remember I had showed in the previous video this unusually shaped box that my son's magic cards. Well, it had this natural spot in it, and the picture just fit, and so I glued it in, and then I glued the back of the box to the front. And I mean, it's like a complete, you know, card now. And I just think that's funny because on the back it says, enter the fray, stand victorious. So it's kind of about superheroes too. And so that makes a little card. And then here's the back of the magazine. When I painted, this was a empty thread spool that I used, and I dipped it. But anyway, so that's the first item in my 100 Things Challenge. I used everything that I had in my stash, which is good, and I really like the way it came out. I like it a lot, and it's completely made out of basically trash. This I even paid, I think, like 30 cents for this at Tuesday morning on their clearance sale. So that's about actually the only money spent on this little book, about 30 cents. And I really like it. I like how the paper sounds. So I hope you decide to join the 100 Things Challenge. I will put the link at the bottom. I don't know if there's a time frame. I don't think there is. I'm just going to do it at my own pace. But I hope you join. Thank you.